Welcome back to
We're back.
late night Footy Thoughts recording, October 17th. A little makeshift for me sitting technically on the floor, but in the living room with the Xbox headset, so things
In
are
his underwear. What?
up for debate. Very new setup for me, but due to it being late night, we will kind of slide into things. We've had a very long and boring international break. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Except for the crazy shooting in Brussels. That stuff is wild. I mean, the world's fucked right now, man. Anyways, that was the only crazy
Did you get your bet back for the Lukaku ATS?
No, they paid it out.
Okay.
He scored a pen early on, and then they abandoned the game. But we got paid out.
There is good in this world. All right, good to know.
Yes.
Well, speaking of being paid out on bets, we can start out by talking about Tonali. I wanted to mention that shout out his PR team, shout out his agent, because they are spinning this story so well. Unlike
good for them.
Ivan Toney, who just got screwed. I mean, we don't know exactly what Tonali did, how many bets he made, if they were props, if they were parlays, if it was match fixing.
Them.
Big if. But as of now, his agent via Fabrizio Romano is doing the best PR management we've seen. So, congrats to Tonali for that. But hate to see that. Hopefully, it's not match fixing. I know the other guy, I forget his name, the other Italian that's caught in this kind of gambling pool already had a 7th-month ban.
No, it's not Scamacca. No, it's
a Juventus player.
Theo Hernandez. No.
The Italian center back on Juventus.
Shut up. Fuck. Yeah. Okay. DeSiglio? No, it's it's more prominent than that. Anyways.
I don't know. I thought it was a young kid. But yes. Anyways, we'll move on from that. Unless I'm missing something, there are no other gambling issues in the soccer world. Slide over to. I'm going to skip around a little bit, Casey, but we did almost have a huge takeover with Manchester United. I will not try to pronounce his name, nor do I remember his name. But the guy who backed out of buying United has allowed Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in and buy a 25% stake in United. I don't know if that's a majority stake or not, but that would see some definite changes with United, because what I do know is the Glazers turned down like a $7 billion offer, which was way over their evaluation and would have seen over $1 billion injected into the United squad facility, because their stadium needs it and their training grounds as well. So I know some United fans aren't happy. Maybe some aren't happy to see oil money not be there for the likes of City and things like that. But I think they're excited for Sir Jim Ratcliffe to come in as well.
Something new.
Not yet. I think in 2024 is the plan, but definitely something to look forward to for them. Another piece of news is Big Ange Postecoglou. Back-to-back. We're going back-to-back. Call him Drake, Manager of the Month, and we saw Son win Player of the Month. Fantastic start to the season for Tottenham.
Big claps around for him. Amazing
Super
job.
bias over here. We're very excited for that. Let's try and go for a 3-peat in October. Okay. Now we'll actually get into some soccer injuries. We did see Robertson. I forgot who they were playing, but he was subbed early with a dislocated shoulder. Have not seen anything in particular, but it is a 2-week to multiple month injury dependent if he gets surgery. But I do think he misses their game against Everton at least, just because he got injured earlier on in the international break. Do you want to talk about Saka?
I don't know too much about it. I didn't see any injury. It's, to be honest, there's so many good options on Arsenal that my personal opinion is that Saka is the guy. He's the guy that you should have on Arsenal, even though Odegaard is on pens now. I guess I've gotten screwed with so many pen takers. From an FPL perspective, at least. They share him, yeah. But there's Jesus is back. I actually think he's a great pick alongside Holland. Pretty template, but I think that's an excellent way to replace Saka and still have an Arsenal attacker. Martinelli's back. That's very good news as well. Plenty of options. Saka being out's not a huge deal. If you want to stick around and keep him and see for any updates, don't mind that either. Not too big. Don't stress about this one. There's plenty of options for a free transfer.
Yeah, Arteta usually does a pretty good job of hiding injury news like that, because I don't know if you were. I mean, FPL Twitter runs through my blood. I see it everywhere. But he was like, "Oh yeah, Saka's in contention for the game, and it's not even in the 18." So he does a good job of hiding that, which is bad for us, but great for Arsenal and kind of hiding their team news from the public.
Yep.
I was going to mention something, but I forgot. But we'll quickly go into red cards. Yves Bissouma did get a red card this last game week against Luton Town for diving, getting his second yellow card, so he will miss the game against Fulham on Monday. And then Mario Lemina got a yellow card accumulation against Aston Villa at home, and he will miss their game. I'm not too sure on who they play. I forget what I was going to say. It was another injury, but I can't remember. But yeah, anything else you want to add on the top of your head? Any Everton players? Oh, I got it. It's earlier in the week. It's Tuesday, so I'm sure there will be plenty of injury updates that come through kind of Thursday, Friday, with the deadline being on Saturday. I'm sure players will come back from their international duties with knocks here and there, so don't be surprised if there's some random player that shows up injured, but I'm sure we'll figure that out well before the deadline. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So we will move on to a review of game week 8. Big game happened, not over the weekend, over 2 weekends ago, was the Arsenal win against City. I remember being frustrated by this first half with how sort of boring the game was. I think we had a combined XG of below 1. Haaland had 0.00 XG. People were saying he was in Saliba's pockets all game. Have to believe that for him not to register a single shot on target.
City had 4 total shots.
Well, there you go. 4 total shots. Game was different with a healthier squad. Not even KDB, but maybe with a Rodri.
It is KDB. Well, I am absolutely telling you. I said this, I think, in our last episode or even 2 episodes ago when Man City won a game a couple of weeks ago, but they only had 5 shots total.
Against Fulham, right?
Yeah, it was against Fulham. That's right. And I'm telling you, Kevin De Bruyne not being in this squad is so much more detrimental than people think. Yeah, they've got amazing talent like Foden and Alvarez, and Kovacic has been a great signing as well. They have amazing creative talent, but Kevin De Bruyne is a world-class generational type of player that they are absolutely missing now. They're simply not creating as many chances at all. It's very bad. So they're going to keep winning, of course. They're going to keep getting a bunch of shots, but they're going to have these type of games where they don't show up and they lose 1-0. And I'm telling you, Kevin De Bruyne would have changed this game.
Well, I think that goes without saying, but I meant in a realistic, if Rodri didn't get that red card a few games ago for choking a player out on the field.
Sure.
I think they
didn't have Rodri. That's a huge miss too. Yeah.
Because the game they had against Sheffield away where Rodri scored, I think, the game tying goal, and they went on to get a winner. He's both that central holding midfielder, but he can also still string. He's not KDB, but he can still string a long pass that can create a chance. So I think, I don't think that was a blimp. I think Arsenal deserved it. Did a great game plan. And then the stupidest deflection, either Havertz got it or got the assist to Martinelli. I don't know who it was, but off some City's defender's face and went in. They got the win. Oh, well, I think with a healthier City lineup, we do see a different result the next time around.
Yeah.
Okay, we can move on to the Brighton-Liverpool game, 2-2. Not a great game for Footy Thoughts duo here with our anti-Salah train, but congrats to the owners. It was a penalty, and then I forgot what the other goal was, but he still had 1.6 XG. So congrats to your FPL points there, especially for those who did captain Haaland, and he blanked. Do you have anything to say about Brighton before I hop into them? I think we're going to talk about the same thing if you do.
Not really. The only thing that I would say is, of course, De Zerbi rolled out random little bunches of his unit of teenagers that he's recruited and scouted, and they looked really good. Baleba as their new defensive mid replacement for Caicedo. They got him from Lille, I believe. Pretty much totally unproven. This kid came out of nowhere. I mean, he played a couple of games with Lille and probably looked really good. That's how deep the scouting networks goes. I will probably mention it on every single pod that we have because it's that impressive. Adingra, random kid, Ivory Coast kid who came from Union Saint Colesi. They bought him from the Danish league. Just random. He scored a great goal. He had a great game against Liverpool. It's like, okay, they're just going to keep pumping him out. So we just have a classic De Zerbi. He's just going to keep rotating all these young guys that he has, all these weapons that he has, and Brighton is going to continue to look very good.
Touch on the random scouting and talent part. Like, people could argue that his goal was easy because it was an open net.
Sure, it was a little fluky,
but it takes skill to do that. In theory, yes,
he had a good game outside of that, though.
But I'm saying, the net in theory is open, but he has to quickly take a touch and, in a game, line up a shot that one gets over Alisson but still goes in the net, 30 plus yards out. So just to fight the haters there, because I did see a little bit of that on Twitter as well.
That's fair enough.
Overall, I don't know. I didn't watch this game enough to determine if there should have been a winner. I know there were. It was 1-1 at halftime, I believe. I know there were two early goals. Go ahead.
Yeah, two first half goal. Well, 3 first half goals with Salah. Okay. Both basically had the exact same XG. Possession stats were very close. Both teams had 14 shots. Brighton had 4 big chances. Liverpool had 3 big chances. It was completely even, super exciting game all the way around.
I do remember this, though, that just because of after the Tottenham-Liverpool game where Klopp was wanting that replay so bad for that incorrect call on the Luis Diaz own goal, there was a picture that came out. There was a picture that came out of, I think, a Matoma cross hitting Van Dijk in the hand. And I even think the Brighton official Twitter page said, we want a replay, or made some sort of joke about that. So there was some good lighthearted fun
banter
there. Yeah.
Nice.
Banter there. Wanted to talk about super sub Scott McTominay absolutely saving United's ass. And I watched all of that game because I'm still rocking Bruno and Rashford in FPL. So that part was driving me crazy. But it was very cool to see even Harry Maguire get an assist on that from a Bruno ball set piece. He headed it on. McTominay tapped it in. I think it was 2 90th minute stoppage time goals. So congrats to McTominay, academy product there. I even think he was getting some hate from the fan base for not. There was a tackle that he attempted weeks ago where, it's a clip from a part of the game where he's not tracking back. So I know he was getting some hate from the fan base. He's not starting. He's not getting minutes, even though he plays all 90 every game for Scotland. So that was good for him to see them get those 2 goals. Why don't you wrap it up with your Evertonians?
Wow, what it feels like to get a solid win at Goodison, man. Oh, it felt so good. We have 2 capable strikers now. Dominic Calvert-Lewin looked very, very good. Jack fucking Harrison. I'm so happy he's here. Man. I've been watching this guy since he was at New York City FC. I had him in my fantasy. Both Joey and I had him in our fantasy teams back in the day with MLS. What a player, man. He's such a hard worker. We have a squad full of hard workers now. I feel good. I feel very good. Ashley Young, fucking legend, man. Jared Branthwaite, he's the real deal. He really is. I feel really good about this Everton squad right now. And I think that things are looking up, and I know this is very poor timing for me to say this before the Merseyside derby on Saturday morning, but I feel good about it. I don't care if we lose to Liverpool. We look good and we're playing our game, and we have an identity again. That's all I wanted. That's all anybody wanted who's been an Everton fan for a long time. We have an identity again. We're creating chances. So we looked really good. 3-0 against Bournemouth. Now we take that confidence back to Goodison and host Liverpool. It's going to be a very exciting match.
I'll just ask for storytelling purposes. That was a review of Game Week 8. We're going to move into a preview of Game Week 9. So why don't you go ahead and continue on with your Evertonian? And I want to jump in and say that I'm going to spoil your luck later, but this is just turning into Casey Betts Everton.
Yeah, and I've won every single one that I have.
Exactly. All right, go ahead.
You got to pick and choose when you bet on Everton, man. James Garner has been thank you, Manchester United, for raising such a great player, because absolute claps all around for that kid. Thank you, Onana, for staying with us. He's a great player as well. This preview is tough because Vegas has this spread as Liverpool winning by 2 goals. Their spread is -1.5 right now. Liverpool has been winning a lot. Salah's in great form, which we did not predict to happen, to be fair. But Liverpool has been looking pretty good. They're kind of leaky in the defense, but they've locked it down a lot better than they have last year. So I think this is going to be a really, really entertaining game. I think it's going to be a little bit more structured than we've seen in the past. There's been a couple times where Liverpool has been, high scoring, chaotic, own goals, deflections, all this kind of random stuff. I have a feeling this one's going to be a little bit more competitive in that way, where there's going to be just more clear-cut chances and no like big errors or anything.
What a statement.
Yeah, what a jinx. I mean, I don't really have much more than that. It's going to be super exciting. Everton's going to come out, man, after their first win in a while at Goodison, after like a first just solid, more than 2-goal lead type of win and a shutout at home. Oh, wait, is this at Anfield? Oh, at Anfield. Shit.
Jesus.
Oopsies, got that wrong.
You're still
I guess strong. Everything's still the same. Yeah. Kinda, maybe not. I actually like that better. I actually like that a lot better, that we're playing at Anfield. That's very interesting.
What a spin zone. Spin zone
yeah, what a spin zone. Beto, DCL. DCL is looking good now. I mean, I'm just kind of going in circles with my words here. I'm very excited for this game.
I think that's a good thing too, just because you have all these elements of the 6:30, the early kickoff, first game of the week.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird time for these players as well, and it's statistically proven that the weirdest stuff happens in these games. And I wanted to add on to that, you guys have had very random high-scoring games, but in recent history, it's been a low-scoring game. You've seen the 0-0s, you've seen the 1-0s.
When we are competitive,
there have been goals though recently, so won't take away from that.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, City Brighton. I know we kind of just talked about them in the review, so I'll keep this one short. In case you had mentioned with all these injuries, mainly the KDB injury, and then me with the Rodri suspension, I think Rodri's back for this game. No, I think Brighton have no chance here. I won't give a score prediction because it won't be surprising for City to win by so much, because Brighton just conceded 6 to Aston Villa, and they've conceded goals across various weeks throughout the season so far. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is a 2-1, 3-1 kind of game. But I do think that City have this one. And if I'm correct, if Rodri's back, I love that even more.
Yep. I'm with you on that. I echo all of that. I will say I think we're in for goals in this match. Remember last season, I think I bet 3 different times on, because there's crazy statistics behind Brighton playing away from home with both teams scoring and over goals. And now Vegas figured it out. I mean, every single line is like 3.5, 4 or something whenever Brighton plays away. So there's not much value in it anymore. However, this is going to continue. Brighton is going to concede to City. I think they're going to look great on the attack, as they usually do. I see this as a 3-1, even like a 4-2, 5-2 type of thing. But I think City takes us home, and I think Haaland comes back this game.
Knowing our luck, it's like City shut it down. They need a bounce back game after this loss to Arsenal. It's like a 1-0, but City
has 6 shots.
Oh, I was going to go the other way around, just to show that the City are back, but it's just a weird game.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
Slight betting question just off the rip. would a sprinkle of both teams a yes and over like 4.5 goals catch your eye? Maybe like a little sprinkle on it.
I mean, it depends on the odds. If it's like
Well,
4x, then absolutely not. But it's got to be, if the odds are there, then absolutely. This is the game where there's goals.
For sure. Okay. Stupinon also out injured for Brighton. Not that he's a defensive player, but he's definitely going to hurt their attack. Two more games to talk about. Chelsea versus Arsenal. I'm very excited for this game because I've fallen for this trap countless times. I'm back on Chelsea attacking assets. However, before we have done that, we're like, oh, these players are healthy. Well, no. They won 4-1 against Burnley. They won their game before that 2-0. And they won, I think, their EFL Cup game 2-0.
Right.
Just showing that they are on a good run of wins and form. And they're finally, Pochettino's finally getting his attacking lineup down. He switched Sterling over to left wing. I think Broha started, but it wasn't how much he played. But then you got
Broha missed a sitter. It was embarrassing.
But then you got, you're benching Jackson, who's taking that as motivation to play better. So when he comes on, of course he scores. But I'm really focused on Cole Palmer. I'm focused on him, but I'm not going to talk about him because he's talking about him in the FPL, but I'm very excited to see him play. And of course, if Arsenal is missing Saka, yes, they have the talent around them. They can play Reece Nelson there, or they can go to this weird two strikers that they're playing with Jesus and Nketiah. I just think that this is a really, really solid opportunity for Chelsea to kind of take Arsenal here, which would be sort of a letdown spot for this big win that Arsenal had against City. Yeah. But there's an international break between that, so I'm not sure if that kind of correlates there, but I like Chelsea. I like Chelsea to at least get a point here. I'll say that, which may not be controversial.
I want to look at the lines for this. I haven't looked at the lines. Yeah, Arsenal is plus 130 favorites. It's pretty much a pick 'em, but pretty heavily leaning on the Arsenal side. Interesting.
Their defensive line Chelsea's has been weird. They've been running Cucurella. They've been running, Cucurella, Thiago Silva. Oh, sorry. Colwill, Thiago Silva, Disasi, right back Cucurella. That was their lineup last game.
Yeah.
Hey, that's working. Anything you got to add on?
No, that's also an exciting game, and I'm kind of with you on this. I think Chelsea are in for a potential big win here, but we'll see.
Well, I'm just on a point, but I would like my
that's what I meant.
To be
just
right
like kind of Arsenal not playing as expected or something like that. Yeah.
And it's at Chelsea too. I couldn't tell you their statistics off the top of my head of their recent home fixture, but I think they have found some good form, 3 straight wins across all competitions. I don't know if they're going to have any injuries come out. I do know Cole Palmer came back with a knock from the U21 camp, but it was not viewed as serious.
Yeah.
All right. The last game we want to quickly touch on is just something to kind of bring awareness to. We've got Brentford at home against Burnley. Now, it's game week 8. It's way too early to call this a relegation battle. However, this is a must-win game for Brentford in my eyes. They only have one win as of now. I think Brentford sits somewhere around 15th, 16th, and Burnley are currently in the relegation zone. So not only is it a big game for Brentford, but it's a big game for Burnley. But I think Brentford need to get all 3 points here because I'm not sure who they have coming up anytime soon, but this is the best chance they have to get 3 points.
Yep.
You want to add on about Burnley?
There's one thing I want to mention here, and a lot of times when fans of teams have a club that gets either promoted to the Premier League or is not, a huge spender in the Premier League, or just one of your kind of, your bottom 6 type of teams, but like wants to, tries to stay in the league each year. A lot of the fans like to come for the manager's heads when the manager parks the bus, doesn't play attractive football at all, is very rigid. Sean Dyche is a great example of that. When he was over with Burnley a while back, I mean, he was a rigid style of soccer. And a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people were like, this is the most disgusting thing to witness and watch. But now you have Vincent Kompany, who took over Burnley and throughout the championship absolutely dominated possession, dominated passing, dominated all of the things that your top clubs like City and Arsenal do, but in the championship. And guess what? They had a historic campaign in the championship. Then they get promoted. Kompany decides to stay with that style of soccer in the Premier League, which is everyone knows it's a whole other animal. And he decides to try to stay with that. There's statistics that say Burnley have they're like top 5 in highest defensive lines in the league, with City and Arsenal and all of these other top clubs are also in that mix. Tottenham, and Burnley is in the relegation zone, conceding 20 goals already in 8 games, only scoring 7. They're 1-1-6, and they're in the relegation zone now, and they haven't looked very good doing it. And this is why managers, they're forced to. They have to play a rigid style of soccer in order to survive. It's literally survive or die in the Premier League. That's how competitive and cutthroat it is. And Vincent Kompany is learning the hard way that he cannot be this dominant, keep possession, keep a high line, dominate passes. You can't do that in the Premier League. You can do it in the Championship, and he did it really well. You can't do that here. So I just want to give some grace to some of the managers that come into the Premier League and lock it the fuck down. And they just like park the bus and they're like, we're going to scrap out for maybe a 1-1 or a 1-0, and that's going to be our campaign. I just want to give some grace to those type of managers, because Kompany is showing you what happens if you get too cocky and say, we're going to try to keep possession and play a high line and continue what we did last season in the Championship. Doesn't work at all. Just wanted to make that point here.
I absolutely agree. Do you have a prediction? I mean, I think Brentford wins. They have to win. Maybe it's too much pressure for them, but is it at least
it's going to be a nervy game, man. Players, I think on both sides, especially Burnley, though, are going to be nervy. I see some kind of brutal mistakes going on in this game. I have no idea what's going to happen, to be honest with you. I think Brentford's the better team, but Burnley does have some exciting attacking players, and they're going to get some shots on goal. So I could actually low-key see this as a pretty high-scoring game. But yeah, it depends. It depends on if Vincent Kompany has figured his shit out yet and says maybe we can't play like we did in the Championship, and then we see a totally different Burnley squad.
You know who's back?
I see this as a game for him to try to experiment with. Okay, what we've been doing isn't working. Let's try something different.
You know who's back for them? That Foster
for Burnley,
guy,
Lyle Foster.
He's back from his late red card in the game.
He was on the bench for the South Africa friendly that I watched.
Jesus,
I didn't actually watch the South Africa friendly, but I did see that he was on the bench.
I was going to say it was a boring international break for some of us. I'm sure you had countless flyers out there. Okay, we'll move on. We will now talk about some FPL. And, here at Footy Thoughts, we try and stay creative. We try and stay forward-thinking. So we talk about
Holland.
FPL. Yeah, by Holland, by Salah. Actually, no, by Salah. We got a new kind of little topic of... Seriously.
I'm snotty. I just sneezed a couple times. Get over it.
Topic of conversation here. So both Casey and I are going to give a player spotlight and a team to target in terms of fixtures changing for them. Yeah, that's basically it. And I will start with someone I mentioned earlier, Cole Palmer. You have a player on Chelsea getting starting minutes now on penalties, which was so surprising, with Raheem Sterling, Enzo Fernandez on the field as well. So Cole Palmer on penalties, 4.9 mil, totally can be your fifth midfielder, totally enables to have 3 premium, whether it be Salah, Holland, Son, a Madison Son stack, whatever you need, great enabler. And he's only 0.9% owned. So Cole Palmer, someone to look forward to. And then the team to target, which pains me to say, But Arsenal is definitely a team to target. They've got West Ham away, Burnley at home, Brentford away, Wolves at home, Luton away. A lot of home aways there, but basically they have 5 bright green fixtures coming up in their next 7. They do have Chelsea and Newcastle in there, but you're never going to bench Saka if he's healthy. You're never going to bench Odegaard, but say if you were to get Raya and Ned, if you say a word to get Gabriel or Saliba in defense, you could bench those for those 2 games, but you would want to start them for those other 5.
Yeah. That's a sharp FPL pick right there. Absolutely. I'll probably be bringing him in, to be honest. I'm looking at a midfield slot here. I did just wild card. So we've got a full reblown because I am next to last in my leagues. So listen to my advice, baby.
Take my FPL advice, but take Casey's betting advice, and you'll be solid. You'll be solid.
My player spotlight is going to be Douglas Luiz on Aston Villa. Aston Villa is also going to be my team to spotlight. I remember when we came out with episode 1 of this season, I was harping on Moussa Diaby. I liked Aston Villa assets, and I liked just Aston Villa overall. I thought they were going to exceed expectations. I thought they were going to look really good, but I had Aston Villa players planning for this specific stretch of fixtures. So they are going to play West Ham at home, and then Luton Town at home, Nottingham Forest away, Fulham at home, Tottenham away, and then Bournemouth away. So they have plenty of good opportunities. Now, keep in mind, they're going to have Conference League, Europa Conference League in between that. They're going to be traveling to some different countries. But other than that, I mean, they're staying home for a little bit. They've got three home games in their next 6 games. And I think their matchups look really good. Douglas Luiz on penalties, I guess. Yep. I had Watkins to start the season. We all remember how frustrating that was. And then guess what? I sold Watkins. Scores a brace.
He has a lot more than that, but we can move on. We won't forget
that. Douglas Luiz on pens, 5.4 million. He also leads the team in chances created. A lot of people don't know that. He is 3.6% owned, 5.4 mil. He is certainly an enabler. I know a lot of people are going after your kind of premium midfielders right now. You want to have Son in your team. You want to have Salah in your team. Saka or Odegaard or, a lot of these premiums. Douglas Luiz, like Cole Palmer, is a good enabler in that way. And they've got some good fixtures coming up. So, like that player.
Nice. All right. So, that was our FPL talk. Kind of gave you guys a player to target. Both midfielders in this case kind of gave you some differential looks for sure, something that we're going to try and focus on. Again, we're not going to tell you to buy Haaland, buy Salah, buy Saka. We're going to try and find those people way, way down in ownership to help kind of boost that differential play and try and gain ranks. Okay, and we will wrap up the episode with our betting recap. I will hold my L. I'll wear it on my chest. I am 2-4-1. I'm on 3 straight losses. I've been trying to get cute here and there, but I'm just going to keep this one simple. Trust the data. Aston Villa, money line at home to West Ham. They have won all of their home Premier League games so far this season with a 13-2 goal difference at home.
Wow.
Cash it. Early cash.
Looks good. Love it. I love it. My lock this week is going to be, I'm going to continue on an Everton train. Everton plus 1.5 at Anfield versus Liverpool. That is the current spread here. Really, it's not even that we look really good right now. I think we're going to take it to Liverpool and kind of surprise them. It's not even about that. This is principle. It's a 6:30 a.m. Saturday game. There is data and there's history behind the early game on Saturday favoring unders. There's history behind it being slower than a lot of the games that start later in the day. And there is, to be fair, it might not matter because it's the Merseyside Derby. Anything can happen. However, on top of that, we look good right now. We're scoring goals. We just scored 3. We have depth pieces now. We have creators. I I like Everton here. I'm gonna keep rolling with this until I don't see the opportunity anymore.
All right. Didn't mention that you are 4-2-1, so you're off to a pretty good start to this season as well. I'm so bad at this. I forgot to do this at the beginning of the episode, but we are Footy Thoughts. Please follow us at Footy Thoughts on Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, some variation of Footy Thoughts _ whatever it may be. Should not be hard to find. You'll see our logo. Okay. Another late night recording. Thank you for listening to whoever is our countless fans. Probably
Our countless
floating
fan.
Your countless fan. All right. I guess look out for us next week. You know,
All
good luck in your
right.
bets detail. If you do parlay
Have fun
them all,
this weekend.
put the house on them. Enjoy Gold
Don't
Rush.
do that.
If Peacock works for you. All right.
Sitting on
Peace.
Peacock is always fun. Peace.